This recording is for May 14, 2013. May 14, 2013. Today, great example of a trend day. Very strong indications we would get one early on in the morning. I know Linda Raschke watched her webinar from last week. Great webinar. She looks at the Dow volume. I noticed. I think it was the first half hour trading is what she uses for her identification of a trend day, which I'm sure it gave that as well. I look at the first 15 minutes of trading on the S&Ps. As you can see here, the highest we've had in well over 7 days, which is generally what we like to see for a trend day. Last time we had that kind of volume was back when the employment number came out. Of course, we had a trend day that day as well. Other examples, here we had another high volume first 15 minutes of the day. We trended up this day as well. If you look back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, I think, well, 6 days. I can't see the last day, but anyways, unfortunately, I was a little distracted. I generally look at the volume in the morning just to kind of give myself an idea what the day's trading will look like. If it's abnormally low, I look to get out of my trades a little early. When it's abnormally high, I try to hold on to them. Well, for whatever reason, I was a little distracted. I did get out way too early. Only got about 5 points, with another 7 from where I think I might have gotten out. But good example, and I'm glad that we're seeing some. We weren't getting them with very much regularity for the last few months, and it's good to see them coming back again. So first thing in the morning, what I noticed, I didn't get a chance to post what my views were on the market, but I noticed that we were in this trading range here, and we had tried to up thrust it yesterday, and we were really getting no follow through from the up thrust. In fact, we were making higher lows. There's a lot of strong bars in here, and so I kind of was on my toes for a long trade. I had a feeling we were going to eventually break out of this trading range. In the morning, we did get an up thrust, but as you can see, the trend was already pretty strong. We had a spring off of this level where we had rallied yesterday and tested the high, and I figured, well, even though we had up thrusted up here, the trend was very strong. We had a 45-degree angle actually on the EMA here on the 9,000 tick chart, and not a lot of supply came in when we came off this spring, and volume was starting to build. So I thought I'd take a shot at a long. Had a great 310 oscillator trade here. Also, two other reasons why I got in this trade was that we had ease of movement in the AM, came for an up thrust, but instead of turning down immediately, again, we were failing to up thrust this level, and looked like we were getting a lot of clustering of closes. A lot of the bars were overlapping, and once we got 1, 2 strong bars and a 310 oscillator trade down here, and then we got no supply on the Weiss wave, it was kind of pretty obvious to me we were going to go up and at least test the highs again, and I got in it. And what I'm starting to do now, when I monitor my trades, I look at every bar and kind of say, is it bullish or bearish? And once I got in this trade, there was really no bearish bars. We had one neutral bar here, which was an inside bar, a very narrow range, closed in the middle, kind of ambiguous. I figured if we broke down from here and came down, I might consider taking profit on my trade, but because we were at resistance. But next bar is bullish, 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 slightly bearish. Kind of very narrow range on this pullback, and then 2 narrow range bars again. Again, we popped up. I got a little nervous here when I had all these little bearish bars, and I wasn't paying attention to the volume, unfortunately. Got out here way too early. But really, it didn't have very much bearish activity, no change of behavior. Demand on the Weiss wave, followed by no supply in the pullbacks all through the morning. Did get back in here, rode it up for about a point and a half, pulled back, got out for about a point right in here, and waited for the afternoon. This was a great trade setup here. I did get in here just to give it a shot, though we had shortening of the thrust here. I thought there was a good chance that we might come back up again. I probably could have gotten out for a smaller loser when I realized we weren't breaking up. Especially given the weakness starting to show up in the background. Demand's drying up on the up waves, getting shortening of the thrust, but I got a little aggressive. I was a little anxious about missing this move and didn't want to miss another up move, so I went ahead and took a full stop on that trade. Did get oversold in the trend channel here. Also on the 9,000 chart, we had a 310 oscillator pulling back here, and whenever you have the next higher time frame with a strong trend, these are generally good ones to take. And of course, 45-degree angle straight up, no reason not to go long after breaking out of a base. So when we got some no supply tests in here, we got one here, I got long, turned back kind of hard, got out for a half-point loser, close to a scratch, then it sprang again. I got in really early. I got in right here. I knew I had probably gotten shaken out and wanted to get back in. Wrote it up here, took about 4 points out on that move. Probably could have scratched this trade. Probably should have scratched this trade. These probably could have just had a wider stop, not gotten out of them. Probably should have given myself a little more room on that. For tomorrow, day after a trend day, Linda Raschke talks about this as well, but we look for a Z day. Generally in a Z day, you look for a strength in the morning and you try to fade the strength. So if we get an upthrust of today's highs with very low demand, I would look to short it going into the afternoon range, which probably would be right around pretty much this area here. So look for an upthrust to come down, maybe get long back in here again, and maybe if we're lucky, we'll get one more rally up to the highs of the day. There is a chance we could have a follow-through day and continue momentum higher. I kind of think a day after this, and we're getting a little bit of shortening of the thrust here, this might have been a sign of some kind of weakness, though there's no real supply. It could happen. We could continue higher, but I'm looking for a Z day unless we get really strong volume in the morning again. Anyways, that's it for today. Good luck trading tomorrow.